I choose us.
Tilesia, all the way from Cape Town. Welcome back to the I Choose Us podcast studio. It's amazing to have you here today. Super excited about the topic that we're going to discuss today, which is
online dating. Is it a trend or is it addiction?
Yes.
I don't know. Let's see.
Interesting story though.
Yes.
We actually met on Tinder.
I can't believe we just said that. And it's a confession. Yes. We met on Tinder, Morné.
How many years ago?
It was many years ago. I think it was 2021, maybe?
Yeah.
2021.
2021.
I remember my friends put me on Tinder after I spent a weekend with them. And they were like, no, it's finished. You're not going to be single anymore. I say it's ginfidence. Confidence, but it was ginfidence. So too much gin was involved.
Yeah.
And there I had a Tinder profile. So my friend literally, her husband, put a photo and everything in there. It's there. And it was fascinating.
Yeah.
You were the best thing that happened
Absolutely.
Out of Tinder. Really, in all honesty.
Yeah.
All honesty. Our friendship, our collaboration, how God just took that platform and used it for the good.
Absolutely.
Because here we are, many years later, in collaboration, and it's beautiful.
So good things can come out of Tinder, but you have to be very careful. But in any case, we'll talk about that.
Be very careful.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that. And I think also try to keep a balance during this podcast, because I think both of us are more towards the reluctant side when it comes to online dating. And that there are other options. However, let's try to steer each other towards a more objective.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's going to be difficult, but and I must also say that the reluctance comes from experience.
Yes.
And also stories that we've heard from close friends, family members,
clients of mine that have had tremendous heartache, where they opened themselves up, they were vulnerable, and then at the end of the day, it set them back many years of healing.
Sure.
So, yes, experience, definitely.
Yeah. It is such an unnatural way to meet new people, if you think about it. You know, I always say that it's like going to a restaurant.
Yes.
And browsing through an endless menu. Endless menu.
Endless.
You are never going to like sort of pick something and be satisfied with it.
Yes.
It's like I don't know how to explain it. It's like a hunger that cannot be satisfied. And when you pick something, you're always going to be in the back of your mind, be like, what am I missing out on? So you're always going to think about that menu, you know.
Or you're going to have extras.
Or you're going to have?
Extras,
exactly.
So you'll have this person that you'll be dating.
Yeah.
And then you also add extras. Have a coffee here, have a coffee there. Yes, it is, because it's available. You know, so it's this endless list of opportunity out there, and if you don't know what you are looking for, I believe you'll end up ordering everything on the menu and being overly full and saturated, and maybe afterwards nauseated and or sick. You know, in the sense that, let me explain it this way: if you don't know what your intention is, to engage yourself, to actually sign this agreement with the online dating site, and whoever is out there, you from the outset sign an agreement to say, listen, I'm exposing myself and opening myself up to this platform and to meeting people and browsing the menu, so to say.
Yeah.
If you don't know what your intention is and you go in blindly, then you'll end up ordering maybe everything and getting fat.
Yeah, and you're going to be the consequences of that.
Yes.
So that's a good point that you're making now. I want to make it very, very clear that today's podcast, I think I want to talk to a very specific audience today. You know, people that's serious about dating. They're on the lookout for a lifelong partner. They want to get married, and they just don't know where to meet new people. That's our audience today. Look, I mean, if you are in the game of in the hookup culture, if you're using online dating for hookups or whatever the reasons are, you're going to be successful, guaranteed. But you're also going to bear the consequences of that.
Yes.
So I think today's discussion is definitely aimed at that Christian, that born again Christian, perhaps.
Yes.
Don't know where to meet new people, but their intentions are pure.
Yes.
They really want a good relationship or to meet someone amazing.
Yes. And there are quite a few people out there like that, Christian, born again, who do attend church, who are, well, either single because they want to be, you know, and then they've decided for now, this singledom, I'm leaving it alone. I want to venture into a new phase of my life, or they're divorced. So newly divorced are exceptionally vulnerable because many people, being Christian or not, don't know that there's a golden rule after divorce, and that is wait before you date. So many people after divorce fall straight into a dating app or, you know, some sort of online dating, and this can also be Facebook. You can see this. People newly divorced, then it's, I'm here and look at me and pose and pout and all of that. And I also did it. I know.
Yeah.
I was guilty. So again, experience. I can speak from experience, all the things I did. I'm experiencing, to mention something, just after my divorce, my friends, one of my friends, she wanted me to meet a guy. And I remember, say for example, I was divorced in April and then I met him in June roundabout.
Okay, so very soon after.
Very soon. Very unhealed, very still in bondage of the stuff from my past. Definitely not myself, definitely not whole. So even though there was this opportunity to meet a very great, incredible man, I wasn't ready. So there was a live in-person set up, and I didn't take accountability for where I was in my healing phase. What I should have done now in hindsight is say, I can't wait to meet you. Now is not a good time because I'm not ready to receive you now. I'm not ready to receive even a friendship at this stage. I need to work on my relationship with myself and with God. So what happened, we did meet up, and I think it was a disaster because I just didn't bring my whole self, my healed self to the table. And then from that disappointment, you kind of go into a phase of, okay, let me try online dating. Maybe online dating will work. I didn't necessarily do that. I can just see that could have been one of the things that could have followed after the divorce, you know. Mine came later when my friend said, no, now you'll have a dating app. Does that make sense, what I'm trying to say?
100%. And I think you are raising a very, very important issue here. The fact that that we need to you need to make sure what is the reason why you want to engage with these online platforms. And are you in the right space for that? Are you whole? Did you deal with your past? Are you a whole person? You mentioned something now before the start of our podcast. I think just talk about that for us. The importance of, before we even delve into online dating, what needs to be in place before you even visit that?
The wholeness that I spoke about. Well, for any person out there, whether or not you want to meet someone online or whether or not you want to meet someone in person, you need to take it upon yourself to be healed, to be whole. You need to take it upon yourself so that you don't go and you take your baggage to another person. So I kind of identified 3 things. The lewd. So I wanted to say LOL, you know, for online dating, LOL, but I couldn't find an O or an L. Maybe someone can help me out there. But lewd, L-U-D. Lewd is the loneliness. If you're driven by loneliness, if you're driven by uncertainty, and if you're driven by distraction. So loneliness, if you feel lonely as a person, if you feel that you're driving and there's something missing, you're driving and you're thinking, oh, I'm missing something, I don't feel whole. Or you with people, and this has happened to me, you with people, you're in conversation, you maybe at a party or something, and you feel that void, you feel that hole.
Yeah.
If you feel that something is missing, if you feel that you're not complete, that is a kind of a loneliness. If it's a Friday night and people are having braais around you and you're not at a braai and you're single and you feel lonely, then you need to check yourself, because that loneliness wants to teach you something. The loneliness, again, wants you healed and whole. Instead of the hole, that hole that you have in you, you want your W back. I often say my purpose in life is to get people to get their W back. So you want to be whole.
Okay.
Wholesome, whole. WHOLE. Whole.
Yeah,
Instead
yeah.
of having that hole in you. And that W consists of a few things, and that's the work. You have to do the work. You have to do the inner healing work. Because, face it, things happened in your childhood. Things happened to this inner child of yours. She or he got messages that I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough. Basic human message we often get is, I'm not enough. Or you were abused, or you were, there's so many things that could happen. You were abandoned, you were rejected. That unhealed parts you take into a relationship, and it's unfair. So if there's loneliness, stay clear.
Yeah, because that loneliness drives a lot of people to online dating sites.
Yes.
And it's dangerous. I mean, you're trying to fill a void.
Yes.
That you should sort out first before even considering
Exactly.
the dating phase.
Exactly. So with the loneliness, I had a dream on the 3rd of March. So I knew we were going to do this podcast. Obviously, God started speaking to me, and the dream I had was it was the 9th of March. The dream I had was where a guy was standing, sorry that it's a guy, but it could have been a girl as well.
Yeah.
In my dream, I mean, that's the way God spoke to me, is there was this man standing there, almost like on a balcony kind of thing, leaning towards the balcony with his phone. So he's leaning in and towards his phone. He's committed, he's engaged, he's involved in his phone here, looking very happy, smiling, very engaged in the phone. And around him were boxes and stuff on the floor. And, it was just totally messy. It was extremely messy. It was what I translated in my spirit as chaos. It was chaotic around him. However, what he portrayed here to the phone was everything sorted. I'm happy. I'm good. So it's that misrepresentation because of this chaos. And talking about loneliness, loneliness brings about a lot of chaos. Why? Because when you're lonely, when you have a void and you go into a relationship or you engage in an online dating site, you expect other people to fill that void, to fill that loneliness, to come and bring order in the chaos. And no one can do that.
Sure.
Even me with the work I've done, and it's not because I'm cool or anything, it's just I've done the work, I'm doing this work, I walk the talk, I fall many times and I stand up many times. So I know that even I am not in a position to make anybody else whole. Definitely not. In fact, I know I can't because I do the work.
Yeah.
God can. God can make you whole. And that's why I'm saying loneliness has an agenda, and it has the agenda to bring you back to God. So if you're lonely, stop the dating sites and go back to God, or go to God if you've never been there, So that's loneliness.
Amazing.
Yes. The uncertainty, one of the things people engage in online dating sites is they're uncertain of their future. Well, nobody can be certain of their future, right? However, say for example, you're a single mom and you've got 2 children, and you're used to having a husband who has a large income. Now you meeting a certain uncertainty that you don't have that financial stability any longer. So you go into a dating site with the wrong intention of meeting somebody that can bring some sort of financial stability, or you don't want to be a family that's broken. So you want the papa, you want the husband, you want the picket fence to still be there, to look picture perfect, you know?
Yeah.
So the sad part here is that you actually take your children with you on the dating site. I think if listen to that. Let that sink in. The moment you are a parent and you engage in a dating site, just think about the reality that you bring your children into that dating site. You actually signing an agreement with the platform and whoever is out there that you bring your children with. That's scary.
Absolutely.
That's so scary. So whoever you are, if you do put pictures of your children and so forth there on the platform, which is highly disencouraged, if you do, or you share pictures, be careful. There are people out there who aren't who they say they are, and they will kidnap your children. They will get an image of your children and they will kidnap them. So, okay.
And these things are real. I mean,
these things are so real.
Yeah.
These things are so real. People pay a lot of money for people.
Yeah.
People pay a lot of money to get people and to traffic them.
Yeah.
This happens. So just be mindful. And you don't know who you're talking to. That dream I had, you don't know that guy. You don't know all the rubbish that's in his life. You don't know his addictions. You don't know his flaws. Flaws are one thing. I'm talking about baggage, man. I'm talking about you don't know if he is married or not. One of my clients, she actually met up with the guy. He met her friends, he met her family. They went overseas together. They had a great time. Just for her to realize that he was still married, living with them. That's deception. So again, you don't know who you are talking to.
Yeah.
That's the uncertainty. Or, for example, you're a male and you do have a high demand job and you need someone to be there for your children. So you actually go with that intention of looking for a mommy.
Yeah.
Again, bringing your children into the picture. So there's lots of uncertainties. And then the last one is the distraction. Morné, our devices are our biggest vices at the moment.
Yeah.
Definitely. I know it from myself. I need to speak to myself and say, Tilesia, this phone is out of your hands at 9 o'clock at night. That's even late. I mean, it should from 7 not be featuring, you know. So we are so addicted to our phones.
Yeah.
So now put it in a mix. You've got guys or girls speaking to you, giving you attention on a device that you're already addicted to in your hands, that's giving you all these signals in your brain. And once you get a message, when you get that ping, you're like, yeah, you know, and happy hormones and all of it. It's so addictive.
Absolutely.
So that's a distraction. And if you want a distraction in life, get a hobby.
Yeah.
Go hiking, join a club, go gym, do something else.
Something productive.
Yes.
Yeah. Invest in yourself.
Yes.
Do the work.
Do the work.
I mean, social media on its own is like super addictive. I mean, you can sit there for hours on TikTok and just watch all those videos pop up. It will keep you busy forever.
Yes.
Online dating, different ball game. That's like a different level of addiction.
Yes.
I must be honest with you. I mean, I'm honest with you. I mean, I sat through weekends.
Sure.
Just like swiping. Crazy, man.
Crazy.
I mean, it's so super addictive.
It's super addictive and very unproductive, like you said.
Yeah.
And it's also very false because I don't know about you, but the time I was on Tinder, okay, then it's maybe day 6. Haven't washed my hair, it's a holiday or something, you sit there, your teeth isn't brushed, and you on the phone portraying this beautiful picture of this cute girl, and you've got everything sorted. That wasn't really me, but I'm just trying to give an example. That you're speaking to somebody out there, spending your time with somebody out there who, again, it's a false misrepresentation of who they are. They may be at home. One, they don't look like their profile picture, because you get filters, and then you get filters these days. So many people have told me, yes, then they go on a date with this person, and then you have to kind of look. Is this the person? Like, this is who you look on your phone, but is this who you look in real life? Because this isn't what was portrayed. So there's a lot of disappointment that comes with online dating. So you start speaking to somebody, you spend your whole weekend with either one starter on the menu, or a starter, a main, and a dessert in one weekend that you're speaking to. You're speaking to 3 or 4 or 6 or 7 girls or men in your pajamas. Your house looks like a mess. You haven't brushed your teeth. You're not taking care of yourself. You're not going for a jog. You're eating Rice Krispies. Not that there's something wrong with Rice Krispies. Sorry. So you're just not taking care of yourself, You're not going to church, but you want to talk about, all of the church things, or you're drunk when you engage with these people. So the next morning you wake up and you can't even remember what did you say to who.
Exactly.
It's false. And it absorbs your time.
It was so consuming. I mean, even in the days that I were on online dating, it was like, it's extremely, extremely consuming. You can't even remember. It's like you said, you would be chatting to 6, 7, 8, 9 girls at the same time. Some will just disappear. Some will ghost you. Some will just keep the conversation alive. You can't remember what you said to anyone anymore. And the sad thing about that for me is like you can't just pause, and you sort of, you take the humanness out of it.
Yes.
It's just like I don't want to say object, but it's like you're not present. You're not focusing on this one person, really trying to understand who they are, because you're talking to 6, 7 people at the same time. I don't know. It was a terrible experience for me.
Yes. It's very fake.
Very fake.
And it's very unfair towards the people out there who actually go with the intention to meet someone pure or holy, or at least to meet someone with the intention to date and marry. So it's very, very unfair. I wouldn't like it if somebody speaks to me and then they speak to 7 other people.
But that's the nature of online dating.
Yes.
I mean, but we'll talk about that. That's unfortunately the nature of it. You talk to 6, 7, 8, 9 people at the same time.
So actually you have to, again, sign that agreement, just like the proverbial agreement in your mind's eye. Once you go onto a dating app, kind of sign it with the intention and the underscript and very bold disclaimer saying, watch out, be careful, you will expose yourself. If you don't like to be vulnerable, here you will learn how to be vulnerable. You will meet liars, you will meet cheaters, you will meet people who will ghost you, you will be ghosted, you will be disappointed,
you will be rejected.
You will be so rejected, you will reject. Say that's not even in your nature, then you will become somebody like that. You open yourself up to a can of worms. You open yourself up to a world that, comes with a certain big disclaimer, which it doesn't often come with. It comes with, oh, I'm on Tinder. Oh, I see this guy. Oh, this guy. Oh, I'm chatting to this guy. I'm meeting this guy. Making it very loose, whereas you are putting yourself, your whole being out there. And I just want to mention this. When we start speaking to somebody, when we engage with online dating, look, you already have a certain mindset. So your mindset is already going to the fact that, oh, I'm going to meet someone. Because you're most probably going to meet someone. Okay? So the intention is already there that you putting yourself out there to date. The other person puts themselves out there to date or to have sex. I don't know. There's that thing as well where people literally just join sites to get a hookup, like you said. Okay. So now the intention is already there. So I've already almost sprang 10 steps. To a place where I'm here. Instead of where I would have met you at a coffee shop and it would have been, hi, oh, yeah, my name is Tilesia. Okay, your number, kind of working up the guts to get my number. So you already have my number. You already have my picture.
Exactly.
You already know what I do for a living. You've already stalked me on Facebook, on Instagram, or whatever I've got, So we're already there.
Yeah.
So it's so easy to then start chatting for a weekend, and by Monday you think you know the guy. By Tuesday you met. By Wednesday you're in bed together.
Yeah,
Boom.
sad.
That happens. And that is dangerous. Or you live a little bit apart from each other. So now we start sending each other messages. It ends up sexting because we're adults. Maybe we've been divorced both, so it can easily become something that's more, towards the sexual side. And then you start sending each other pictures.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm sending you a picture of my lunch. Tonight I'm sending you a picture of me in the shower. In a week's time maybe you'll have a picture of one of my body parts that's exposed, my boob or something, let's be honest.
Yeah.
And people then use those images. We call it image-based abuse. It's actually a thing.
Yeah.
Image-based abuse or sextortion, where people use your photos, and it doesn't have to be something that's totally naked. It can be you in a shower or at a massage.
Yeah.
And people use those photos and they say they're going to expose you. That's dangerous stuff, you guys. And the problem is when you start dating online or you start engaging, I don't even know if it's dating, it's engaging.
Yeah.
You're exposing yourself online. Then you have to know that you have the brain of a teenager.
Yeah.
Because it's endorphins. It's all these happy hormones, serotonin, all these great nice hormones that's playing up in your brain. You aren't responsible as a human being. Your brain is a teenager. Teenagers don't have brains. We only have fully developed brains at the age of 27 men, 24, 5-ish for women. So you are literally not using your brain when you are speaking to all these people online. You're not. So you will be more inclined to send a nude or to say something cutesy or to be who you're not. And later when you have regained consciousness, let's put it that way, or he has ghosted you, or he has or she has rejected you, then you're like, oh, what did I do?
Yeah.
So please, if you do join an online dating site, keep yourself accountable. Remember that you don't have a brain while you're doing this. Literally. You're not thinking straight because you're in love. What is the nicest feeling in the world? It's being in love.
Yeah.
It's getting that text message. It's that hello. It's that attention. Not just attention. It's that belonging, that sense of belonging. So if you don't belong to yourself, and if you don't belong to God, and you don't know your true belonging, don't go on dating sites.
100%.
Don't.
And there's, I think there's a form of excitement that comes with all of this as well. I mean, it's super exciting to chat with someone new, and but just back to that extortion bit. I mean, I had an employee that worked for me, and same thing. The lady started to chat him up on. They had common friends on Facebook. Started to chat him up on Facebook. That conversation escalated from not knowing this person at all in the morning to sending nude pictures of himself in the evening. That all in one day's time. Eh? The moment he sent those pictures, that person got extorted. They they wanted 10,000 rand, or they're going to post these photos all over social media, including their friends. So, and this was 10 to 1, like someone from a different country. I mean, these people are so clever. You never know who you talk to on social media. So it's super dangerous. He ended up having to go to the police, making a case against these people, but obviously they're not local. So it's super dangerous out there, and people need to be aware of this stuff.
Yes, it's super dangerous. And our children can only do what they see. Our children model our behavior. So if you are divorced or widowed and you start dating online, I don't know really if it's dating online, because how do you date online? Like, it's more chatting to many people, and if you're catching fish online, yes, then you can get a catfish. So if you do that and your children become aware of it, say for example, you're lying on the couch and you're like, no, mommy's speaking to this one, or no, daddy's meeting this girl, then they will think it is acceptable to have friends online, to meet random friends online, and kids do this, and they also get sextorted. They do.
Yeah, absolutely. That's cool.
And it's very, very, very dangerous. So it's dangerous because you can meet someone that doesn't exist, or you meet someone that exists and they say the right things.
Yeah.
And in that moment they say the right things, because look, we're not together like this, so you can't think so fast when you're sitting there, or you can't go on your phone and quickly look certain words up, or quickly portray something different, or quickly check interests, or quickly become somebody that this person wants.
Yes. Yeah.
You see where I'm going
100%.
with this. Or I can say, I was here, I climbed Lion's Head last weekend. Then the person can go like, Google Lion's Head, this. Then they can get information and then start chatting with you about Lion's Head. Yeah. And you thinking, this guy is so cool. He knows about Lion's Head and he knows about this and this and this. Meanwhile, they don't. They're just Googling. I will not like it if I go on a coffee date and you sit there and you have no idea what's Lion's Head, and then you have to Google it. I'll be like, oh, I'm not going to see you again.
What an idiot.
You said it. It is what it is. So then you fall in love with this person. Then you're not here. You're already here.
Yeah.
Because this person is saying the right things. Oh, they know these people that you know. They've read this book that you've read. They've never even heard of it. And then they can talk with you, but they're not talking with you. Yeah. They're Googling what your interests are. That's so fake. That's dangerous.
Absolutely. Yeah. But Tilesia, let's take one step back. The need out there to meet new people is really, really great. Just this week, we both follow that page online. Is it Leefstyle? Trouwens en Leefstyle from Suzanne?
Yeah.
They're doing such a brilliant job with that page.
Amazing.
But there, when you plugged into that platform, you can really see the heartbeat of people and what's happening on the ground.
Yeah.
The need is so great. Just this week again, there was a lady that posted, where can a Christian lady just find a good man?
Yep.
Where can they find them? It's sad to say that, it's one thing for churches to say, listen, stay out of online dating. Don't visit these platforms. Trust God for your partner. Join a home cell group. Get involved in church. But you're not going to meet new people like that. Especially in the age that we are in, Tilesia. You have been divorced, perhaps. You're in your mid-30s, mid-40s plus. You've got children. Where do you meet new people? Joining a home cell, getting involved in church, it means zero. You can be in the biggest church in South Africa. You're not going to meet new people there.
Yep.
That's in the same season as you are in your life at this moment. So it's extremely difficult. And I really, really feel that churches need to do more to connect people in this manner.
Yep.
So I think there's a lot that can be done that churches can do. Even get like a third party involved to arrange certain events, interesting, cool events for people to meet each other.
Yes.
Like speed dating sort of stuff.
Yes. Get to know the Bible dating, speed dating.
Yeah.
Get to know the Bible, get Bible quizzes together. There's a lot of things that can be done,
Yeah.
They do it for the youth, or the youth they just decided, we're going to make this a mingle session and get together. And that's just, again, the teenage brain, the teenage brain that's filled with hormones. So there's Youth Fridays, and then it ends up, many of the parents I coach would say, I don't allow my daughter or my son to go to the Friday night youth gathering because it's just a pickup joint, they would say,
Yeah.
There's a nicer word to say that, but I mean, it's just, they end up just mingling with the kids, and it's more to do about the kids and being dating and all of that than church and God.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, the thing is, it still plants a seed. There's still worship. There's still conversations about the Bible. It still plants a seed that wouldn't have been planted had the child stayed home on a Friday.
Yeah.
Look, there's different situations. So I'm not just giving a general thing. But it would have been nice to have a church that has a Friday night youth for us. Youth.
We are still youth.
Yeah, we are youth. Youth Quadrat. I don't know. It would have been nice. Imagine, you know, on a Friday night, every second Friday night, there's some gathering. You get a nice meal. You get you speed date. You have Bible quizzes, and everyone is single, and it allows single people to be there without shame.
Yeah, and it's in a controlled environment.
Yes.
There can be a teaching on dating.
Yes.
It's people with shared values, Tilesia.
Yes.
The thing is, for so many Christians, the church that you go to is like the foundation of everything.
Yes.
Your beliefs is like,
Yes.
that's like sort of the foundation.
Yes.
You want to date someone that's at least in your church.
That's equally yoked.
I mean,
Yes.
that's the heart of every single Christian, is just to be equally yoked.
Yes.
And now you can't find these people. You don't know how to connect to these people in your own freaking church. That it drives me insane, because I know so many people that sit with this exact same thing. And then what happens, Tilesia? They don't have a choice but to go to online dating.
Yes, and let's be honest, online dating is much easier. It's much easier. It's much more convenient. You don't have to get out of your pajamas.
Yeah.
Your kids don't have to be somewhere else. They can be at home.
While
so
scroll.
you don't have this thing of, what do I do with my kids? Because they can't go to mom or dad. So I can't go out. So it becomes user friendly. Because it's in your pocket. Your date life is in your pocket. How sad is that, actually?
God, is sad.
So yes, I agree. We need to, start doing the work in terms of actually get out of your pajamas and do something. Go and join a hiking group. Go and speak to your pastor and say, listen, we want a singles cell group. We want that. So it's one thing to say the church has to do it.
Yeah.
There's another thing to say, I'm going to do it. I'm going to start speaking to my pastor. I think it may be, the story I tell myself is, maybe it's not so prevalent here. I don't know if churches in America or so, maybe it's more prevalent, or overseas. It's not so prevalent here, or we don't know about it that much, because maybe there's this stigma around being divorced and in church, and that there's shame or guilt that's coupled with that, and then maybe people just feel like it's something like, it, but you don't want to see it.
Yeah.
And that's where churches and leaders, I believe, should take that step, and or allow people to take the step and say, listen, I'm a coach. Can I maybe help facilitate some healing groups for the singles? Because at least then there would be something apart from the online platform. So I really encourage people out there, if they are part of a group of, or at least if they are part of a church, go and speak to your elders and say, listen, I want to start this. This will be healthy, at least.
Yeah. And then you can sort of sit with your leadership and discuss how we can put this thing together. That's going to be safe for everyone, and that's also going to protect the church. Because I fully understand why churches can't really get involved with sort of putting it out there, dating stuff. But I mean, you can sort of arrange internal for your members, people that people that's in structure, people that your pastors know of. Listen, I do have X, Y, and Z members. It's cool if they join such an event.
Exactly.
So it can be good.
Yes.
It doesn't necessarily have to always turn out bad.
Yes.
At least you cater for those people.
Yes.
At least you have something in place for those people.
Yes.
To avoid them having to go to online dating sites. Because, I mean, if you can avoid it at all cost. I mean, that will be my message.
Yes.
100%.
Yes.
Avoid it at all cost. Because it's like,
yes.
I love fishing with my boys. And when we fish for carp, for example, we use a very specific bait and we cast that in.
Yes.
You're not going to use a carp bait to catch bass. If you want to find bass, you have to go to a very specific dam, very specific location at that dam, and you use very specific bait.
Sure.
So just think of that in terms of dating as well. Online dating is like taking anything in your cupboard and casting it out there and see what you're going to catch.
And you might catch a barracuda.
Exactly. Especially for born-again Christians, you never know. Everyone says they are Christians.
Sure.
So, by the way, every single person that I met online said,
Yes.
I'm a Christian, I love
Yes.
Jesus, what. But turned out, there's no relationship at all.
Yes, my one client actually met a guy who she told me he came to visit her. On their profile, she's a Christian, he's a Christian. He said it on his profile. Then came to her house, and then he's like, but the music you listen, well, it's worship. Oh, okay, but is that all you listen to?
What you see?
You see. So then they had a discussion, or a conversation, and then it came out, he's not such a believer, so he even put himself out there to be a believer or a Christian then. And then when they actually met, and she invited him to her house. How dangerous is that?
Absolutely.
I told her, I'm like, imagine it was a bit different. So where do you trust? When do you trust? When do you say it's safe? An experience I had, and this wasn't with you, obviously. It was also a guy I met online, and we chatted, and it was very nice chatting, and we had so much common interests and all of it. And the moment I met him in person, I had this weird feeling in my spirit.
Sure.
Yeah. And then I think this may have happened to other people as well. And then because we have chatted so much, and we were already here in our conversations, nothing weird pictures or so, and also lots of shares. Oh, look, I'm having lunch. Oh, look, I'm here. I'm looking. So we're here already. Now you feel so invested. You've invested so much time. You have now chatted to this guy or this girl. You meet them in person for the first time, and you have this unction in your spirit, which is like, no, this red flag. Something's not right. You don't know what it is, but something's not right.
Yeah.
And then you don't listen to it because you've had all of this interaction, fake interaction online. It may have even evolved to WhatsApp. So now you've chatted on WhatsApp, all of it. And now there's this history that you now share, even if it's a weekend or whatever, a week's chatting.
Yeah.
And then when you do meet them and you experience the red lights, you don't listen.
Yeah.
It's so sad, and it happens. And then you betray yourself because you've been too far in.
Yeah.
And you now feel either guilty, or you feel, well, I have spent so much time with this guy now, and you disregard the red flags. That also happens.
Absolutely, 100%.
Or you just jump in bed and then there's nothing left. What's left then after that?
Yeah.
Think about it.
Ooh, scary stuff. Then you sit
scary.
with soul ties.
Yep.
So much stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, goggas.
Baie goggas.
Baie goggas. Scary goggas.
Grillerige goggas. Mordes, maar now I need to tell you. So, from my experience, my lived experience, that was Tinder, and I quickly got rid of that. Like I say, you were the best thing that happened to Tinder. Our friendship, our collaboration, and how God has connected us.
Absolutely.
Okay, so that was great. That I don't believe is the norm.
No.
I don't hear that. I don't hear people saying, listen, I met this guy on Tinder and we're great friends still, and, we're collaborating and we do the work together. I don't hear that. Then I have heard a client of mine, she's actually married to a guy she met on Tinder.
Sure.
Great story.
Okay.
And that's it. That's basically it.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I can't remember the year. I just remember that my cousin passed away very early. It was a Friday. That was her funeral. And I went to the funeral, and my family was there and all of it. And after the funeral, I went home. So I was alone. So my family wasn't with me. I was alone at home. And that evening, I thought, I'm just going to download. So this was Kur.
Okay, cool.
Okay. So I've never been on it. So it was Tinder, closed that, many years went by, and then Kur.
Mm.
Ooh, it's not anything about Kur. It's just about what I experienced there.
Mm.
So that was the Friday night. The kind of people that I saw was just, it was sad. It was just sad. It's just these weird pictures and these weird names. And I actually thought, am I being joked here?
Mm.
I don't know. Is it because now I've done the work, I have had my fair share of healing and my standards are raised, that I thought, goodness, what is out there, you know? The Saturday, I thought, whoa, it's not getting better. And I met one guy that I actually knew from years before, that we actually knew each other, you know? So I actually sent him a message. I'm like, meet you on the other side, but I'm deleting this. So what I want to say is I actually felt worse, more lonely, more, you know, saddened after that.
Sure.
Than that I felt the Friday after going home and being alone after the funeral.
Yeah.
I felt worse. It actually amplified the loneliness.
Sure.
It amplified the you don't have somebody. It amplified that.
Yeah.
And what advice would I have given to that Elise? Well, it was a cool experience. I still have some screenshots. So I know it's bad. I'll send it to my friends that consider going on dating sites. I'm like, I could just make sure that this is maybe what you're going to see there.
Yeah.
You know, it's weird. There's weird stuff out there, and some people think it's okay. Okay, maybe they looked at my picture and also thought the same thing. But what I want to say is, so firstly, I just want to emphasize this, that if you join a dating site because you're lonely, because you just, like me, came from a funeral and you feel alone and desperate and not, you know, like not worthy, but you're like sad, don't do it. Don't bring that to a dating site.
Oh.
At least I could say, no, I'm checking out. This is worse for me. It's really not good for my mental health. It's not good for my emotional, psychological health. So I checked out.
Yeah.
Easy enough. Nothing came from it. But can you imagine if I continued
and entertained certain guys? Yeah.
and I met them from a place of loneliness. And from a place of being saddened, and that was my motivation. Shame, I would have placed a big burden on these guys to now kind of make me happy, or you know, be something that they cannot be, because I'm not who I need to be, you know. And there was something else I also wanted to say about it. Sure, it was really, really sad. You know, I think that happens to people where it amplifies their
100%.
loneliness, because they maybe not get picked, they don't get swiped.
Or they see what's out there, and it like sort of reinforces that message. Where's the good guys? You know, there aren't any.
Yes, and that discourages you. And, you know, to go to God with a discouraged heart, yes, God is close to the brokenhearted. That's true. However, you know, one can be so disappointed that you actually give up on entertaining good guys, going out there. You know, you kind of give up on love. I mean, I think many people have given up on love. And I really do believe there's a lot of people who do that.
Yeah.
They would activate Tinder when they're lonely, or when they need distraction, or when that uncertainty pops up, that lud. And, I don't know. Then they deactivate it again, because then they're happy, and then they sad again, or they feel that void again coming up, and they activate it again. Whereas what you should do is you should do the work. I can't emphasize this enough.
Yes.
Like, stop the dating app, delete it completely, and do the work.
Yeah.
Because then you won't be lonely, because you've done the work, you've done the inner healing, you're happy with yourself, and you won't allow any hoho or any person to come close to this sacred space that you've worked so hard. You know, I can't imagine allowing any person in here. I can imagine allowing one person in this sacred space and this beautiful garden that I've created after my divorce. And look, Like I say, I've fallen many times. I had very good intentions and then it didn't realize. And then, and up until now, this is a very sacred space. I'm not going to put this sacred space out onto the online platform.
Yeah.
And funny enough, it's not just online platforms like Tinder or Kur or those apps. It's also Facebook.
Absolutely. 100%.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, Tilesia. So we are saying that really do introspection before you even go onto these platforms. If you are in a vulnerable place in your life where you've just come out of a relationship, you are just divorced, there's a void inside of you, you are feeling lonely, and you want to fill that gap, rather just stay away.
Totally.
Just go and do the work yourself. And when you are in that place where you feel, you know what, I'm happy, I'm content with who I am, where I am in my life, but I really want a partner. If you've done the work and when you are in a good space, our suggestion would be stay away from online dating. If you are a born-again Christian, rather just go to your pastor firstly, see what can be done in the church, organize an event. At least you know that, well, it's also not guaranteed, but it's 80-90% the fact that you might be evenly yoked, at least with the same group of people. So that's what we are saying today. Go to your pastor, arrange it. Now, let's go over to, if online dating is like your last resort, what sort of strategies can people put into place to protect themselves? And before we even go there, let's talk about how emotional bonds are formed. Because one thing that people must realize is when you share something with someone about yourself, you will never be able to get that information back.
Absolutely.
And it's every time that you share something about yourself, it's like a web that you shoot to that person.
Yes.
There's a connection there now.
Does that?
They know something about you.
Yes.
The more intimate that becomes,
Yes.
the more you share of your preferences, your dreams, your desires,
Yep.
that emotional bond becomes stronger and
Yes.
stronger and stronger.
And you shoot out, I love this analogy of shooting out the web,
Yeah.
of information. You shoot out more information and more intimate and special and sacred information to somebody, look, who you've most probably just met, not even in person yet.
Exactly.
However, you shoot it out from a place of, I need someone to hear this. I want someone to see this. I want you to know this about me. Why? Because it's human. There's this beautiful film. I can't remember the name. And then the lady said, "What's the purpose of a marriage? What's the purpose? I think it's Come Dance With Me or something like that with Richard Gere. And then what's the purpose of a marriage? Susan Sarandon, it's his sister now. She says, the purpose of a marriage is to have a witness to your life.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Wow.
Wow.
So I'm excited to have a witness to my life.
Yeah.
However, because I've done the work, I'm not going to share everything that's in here, in this beautiful sacred garden, with anyone that comes along. Number one, I've got friends that I can share it with.
Yeah.
I've got my church, and I've got my soul group, and I've got my coaching groups, and I've got myself, and I've got God, I've got my family. I've got a whole network of people that I can share with if I want to. Yeah. So I know my belonging, I know where I belong. So I'm not going to have this desire or this unmet need to now, the first guy that comes along, oh, look, this is who I am, and this is what I like, and this is how my day was, and this is what I did, and this is because that's what happens often, and it gets too much. I think many people, withdraw because of people out there who has a desperate desire to send out so much information because they don't get seen out there. They don't get witnessed out there. They don't get validated out there. Why? Again, because they didn't do the work. Because if you do the inner work and you heal your inner child, you won't have this longing to throw your pearls to the swines. That's basically to say it that way. Okay. To get back, once you put that out there, it's out there. It's almost like a cushion, a feather cushion.
Yes.
If you open it and the wind blows,
100%.
make sure you're not going to get every one of those feathers back. So whatever you put out there, whatever information you give, whether it's that you like decaf cappuccino at night or your address, know it's out there. And make sure that you are comfortable with sharing what you just shared, you know. Just getting back to Facebook, something comes up for me now. People on Facebook, not maybe intentionally and also a little bit intentionally, would put, like we said, photos and so forth, and they would get the attention from people, and then they would start to want the attention of one specific person. So they kind of lure that person in.
Yeah.
That to me is also a little bit sure, you know, wow, where is it going? And just again, being mindful of the fact that you can start chatting with somebody. If you don't see them in person, who are they behind closed doors?
Yes. Yeah.
And again, that information that you give out there. Okay, so as a Christian and you have done the work and you feel you're whole and you feel you want to do this and you feel comfortable, led by Holy Spirit to do it, I would never do it. And I don't think God will even tell me I'm comfortable with you doing this.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
Okay?
I agree with you.
Yes. Say you do. And you have that green light to go ahead. What do you look out for? Profiles where, I mean, there's no mention of God or of values, you know. Profiles where there's pictures that's not in alignment with your values, partying and, you know, maybe stuff or habits that you don't do. What else? What can we give some advice for those who want to venture into this?
Yeah, Tilesia, you said something powerful now. We were talking about the shooting of webs and that emotional bond being formed. You mentioned this previously earlier in the podcast that you can share so much information about yourself and feel so connected to this person without even seeing them in person.
Yes.
And then what happens is that you would start to ignore red flags because that deep emotional connection is already there. You know, the moment that you share pain of past experiences, that's like a thick, very thick web that you shoot out. It's a connection because that person knows something very, very intimately about me. So the more you open up, the deeper stuff that you share with people, the stronger that emotional bond is going to become.
Yes.
And very, very dangerous territory there.
Yes.
Because you're going to start to ignore red flags. So I would say keep your cards close to your chest.
Yes.
Share as little as possible. So I fully agree with what you said right now. Pictures that are not in alignment with your personal values, 100%. Explicit photos, you know, hopefully on your side of Tinder, you wouldn't have seen too many explicit photos, but on my side, sheesh.
Sure. There were guys in their undies with like, I promise you, we laugh.
It's weird.
It's weird. And it shows you how sad it is, because how far will you go? Look, let's be honest for a moment. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to be raw.
Yeah.
It sucks to be alone. Let's be honest.
100%.
It sucks to be alone. It sucks to have to be the person at the braai again, being alone. It sucks to picnic alone. It sucks to go to church alone. Well, I don't. For me, I've worked through my stuff. Let's say before that.
Yeah.
Before I've worked through my stuff, there was a stage that I felt this really sucks. I even remember going to one of my pastors back here in Pretoria, and I said, everybody's having a braai, and I smell the braai, and I don't have a braai, and I have nobody to braai with. So I was a total victim of my circumstances. being single and not wanting to just have anybody in my life,
Yeah.
and still being single and having to do everything alone. Meanwhile, what I realized was that was God's beautiful, precious, special time that He gifted me with. Now I'm still single, and I know that God is preparing my husband and myself and my heart for my husband. So I'm dreaming about him. I'm very excited. However, there's a part of me that says, God, can we still have some time together?
Yeah.
Because it's so beautiful and it's so sacred. And I know that once you meet your husband or your wife, that it will be God, an experience of God in a different way, you know. However, this has been really sacred. And some part of me feels that it hasn't even been long enough. And it has been long. It's been more than 8 years or so that I've been divorced, or longer. And with the ups and downs of you know, experiences such as Tinder, apart from our meeting, I wish I never did it.
Yeah. 100%.
Really, my younger self, if I could give that to Lise advice, well, from the onset, if I could give her advice from the day I got divorced, it would have been just draw close to God. Like really, if you take one step towards God, He takes 1,000 million steps towards you. And I wanted that.
Yeah.
I really would have rather wanted that than to engage on Tinder or Kur or even to go on that date that my friend set me up with that fantastic guy, and I just blew it because, you know, I wasn't whole.
Yeah.
So yes, then I wouldn't have also, like many other people, give so much of your emotional and your secrets, your emotional pain, your emotional shared life away.
Yeah.
Like you said.
100%.
I would have known for myself to keep my pearls to myself.
Yeah.
And that's what we do. If we're lonely, if we're uncertain, if we want distraction, then we tend to give too much. And that's what I try to explain. Then we're already here.
Yes,
we
exactly.
tend to give too much,
Yeah.
you know.
Then you see a red flag and it's like,
I can't go back now.
yeah.
I mean, we've been speaking for 2 weeks. How do I go back now?
Yeah.
How do I
100%.
tell you now, no, I don't want anything to do with you, but you know about my brother, and you know about this pain, and you know about this.
Yeah.
It's very dangerous.
Very dangerous.
So it actually takes away a bit of your autonomy, you know.
100%.
Again, you have to know that if you open yourself to online dating, you will be rejected, you will be ghosted, you will be measured and maybe found wanting. You will meet people who don't exist.
Yeah.
You will meet people who's fake, whose life is filled with chaos. You will meet people who maybe are married. Sorry, that's doom and gloom. Let's go back to how to date as a Christian online and
so
safely do it.
I think while you were talking now, I was just picturing this this scene. People, we must realize that online dating is like a massive ocean where there's so much. Everything under the sun is available in that ocean. There's sharks, die mooiste visies. Daar's even krokodille daar binne. Extremely dangerous. You understand? So there's anything out there. So what you put out there, the bait that you put out there is what you're going to attract at the end of the day.
Yep.
And you must like sort of have, I think you should really have a list, a very, very strict list before you even consider dating. And I think this is like sort of, it's not only pertaining to online dating, but in dating in general. What are your deal breakers?
Yep.
What do you want from a partner? And it's simple stuff like, I'm not going to date a smoker.
Yep.
Smoking is out for me.
Yep.
I want children. I don't want children. Going to church, not a non-negotiable for me.
Absolutely.
Being filled with the Holy Spirit, with the evidence of speaking in tongues, non-negotiable for me.
Yep.
All of these things, you have to have like a sort of a deal breaker list.
Exactly.
And you must be willing to stick to that.
Yes.
If you don't, dan gaan jy boude sien.
Jy gaan jou boude sien. And the reason you see your bum, is dit wat mens dan sê in Engels, die rede hoekom jy jou boude sien, the reason why it blows up in your face or doesn't work out then, or the reason why you get hurt or why you hurt, is yes, it's one thing to have a list. It's another thing if you yourself haven't done the work. Because I can have a list, and I've had a list since 2000 and whatever, you know, if I don't myself apply the list, if I don't live the list, or if I'm going through trauma, for example, which has happened to me, that I went through trauma and I went through pain, you still have your list and you don't want to deal with the trauma, so you kind of diverge off your list. If you then go and you start dating someone, or you then go on online dating, again, it's being close to the vine.
Yeah.
You need to be close to the vine. You need to be rooted and planted in Christ.
100%. Yeah.
So you can have your list, you need to apply it. It's like soap. Soap doesn't clean you. Applying soap cleans you. You have a list. The list won't guarantee you having that person. Applying the list yourself, becoming the person you want on your own list.
Yeah. 100%.
That will attract it.
Yeah.
So you spoke about the attraction, right? So then you will attract that kind of person. You know what was shocking in my experience is that from my, let's say, how do I also have to put it very nicely now. In my previous years, I would have been prone to dating men, not all of them, to dating men who were more arrogant, flamboyant.
Like your bad boys.
Bad boys, narcissistic traits. Okay, so when I started my healing, I remember the doctor I worked with, the psychiatrist, and we did programs together, healing programs. She said, Tilesia, you need to change your energy.
Sure.
Because if you don't change and heal, you will attract that same type of person. I thought, you know, I kind of took a bit of offense, because I'm like, I do the work and you can't say this, you know, I've been doing the work and whatever.
Yeah.
It was confirmed with stuff like Tinder, where you see this picture. It's a picture of a person, and you're attracted to the picture. And meanwhile, it's the bad boy energy that comes out, because energy doesn't lie. I don't have a better word for energy. That's just, you know, that it just comes out. So what I want you to hear is that if you are putting yourself out there, make sure you are whole, so that you will attract the whole people.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. And also, I think, yes, what you said now was really, really cool. I think that's also a very, very good indicator that there's something that we need to work on.
Yes.
If you are attracted to that same pattern.
Yep.
So realize that. Become conscious of that. Listen. Okay. Wait. Something is wrong here. I keep on being attracted to the bad boys.
Yep.
Why? I would say pause then. Go and sort that out.
Yes.
And because there's something wrong there.
Yes.
Especially for men as well. I'm attracted to X, Y, and Z. Okay, but pause.
It's so important what you're saying, because if you find yourself time and again being rejected, being ghosted, if it's the third time, maybe it's the guy. If it's the fourth time, look, you have to kind of look closer to home. If it's the fifth time, start with the man in the mirror.
Yes.
Because then it says something about you. You are the common denominator. And this isn't criticism. This is just maybe you do come across too needy. Maybe you do throw your pearls to the swines too early. You know, maybe you do emotionally expose too much. Maybe you do text too much. Maybe you are too involved and come across as too much, and the baggage comes up too early. Or maybe you are too withdrawn. Maybe you just give the picture clearly to the girls that all you want is sex, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe you are not engaged fully or committed, or, you know, that energy comes up and it gets picked up and you get hurt the same way the whole time. By the fifth time, pause, delete, go back and do the work, right? So Tinder or Cool or all those platforms can actually be a relational indication or a relational feedback of where you have to go and do the work.
Absolutely.
Does that make sense?
Yes, 100%. So what we've said now, get a list of your
Requirements for your guy or girl.
you're like non-negotiables.
Oh, yes,
Or
non-negotiables.
Non-negotiables or deal breakers. Okay, get that list. And then just go and investigate the type of people that you've been attracted to. If it's unhealthy patterns, go and sort that out. So become conscious of that and aware of that. Now let's talk about your... back to my analogy, when you cast bait into this massive ocean where there's the most beautiful fishies, but also very dangerous sharks.
I can just see these species.
I tell you.
Hierdie mooi visies.
Yeah.
Yo! And they look so beautiful.
Yeah.
And then you meet them.
They've got movies in tane.
Barracudas.
Exactly.
Hi,
Beautiful
Moras.
from the outside, but heet dit tog. So yeah, that's what I'm. So be very intentional with online dating. I think when you do your profile, I would say. So I was very intentional with my profile. I said I've got 2 kids, divorced. I even put a statement out there: sex belongs in marriage. Filled with the Holy Spirit, non-smokers. I was very, very specific because I realized that the bait that I cast out there is what I will attract at the end of the day. And still, I mean, even after doing that,
Exactly.
my experience wasn't that great.
Exactly.
But one needs to be very intentional with online dating. And my suggestion would be to Lise also is once you've matched with a person, deactivate your account
Yes.
and focus on that one person.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Otherwise, you will get sidetracked.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you will get drawn into the ocean and
Yes.
drown.
Yeah.
You know,
100%.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Than having this guy and this guy or this girl and this girl. I really, at this stage of my life, cannot think of something that's more draining. I cannot think of something that's more draining to have to share this sacred space, this garden, this preciousness that has really grown from intimate time with Holy Spirit and with God and my personal journey on life. I can't imagine sharing that with anybody. What to say with 7, 8, 9, 10 guys.
It's so exhausting.
So that actually wants that actually brings something to my mind. If you are whole and if you are doing the work and you're a Christian, born again believer, will you even do online dating?
Yeah.
That's the question. Because something tells me then you will be the guy or girl who takes the initiative to go and start quizzes at a restaurant, you know, or
engage with your
engage with
pastors.
your pastors and say, listen, there's another way of doing this. For example, you know,
Yes.
let's have Saturday brides get-togethers, you know, something like that.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. Again, different strokes for different folks. This isn't criticism.
No.
Because I know how it sucks to be lonely.
Yes.
I just also know how it sucks
Yeah.
to then be with someone and they're not the right person for you.
Yeah.
And you met them on the wrong platform, or, you know, what happens is you start to chat, then this is what happens. You fall in love with the idea.
With the idea. Absolutely.
You fall in love with how you're feeling. It's
Yeah.
so narcissistic, actually. You fall in love with how it's making you feel. You fall in love with the endorphins. You fall in love with the serotonin. You fall in love with that beep on your phone. You fall in love with the message. You fall in love with the craziness of it. It sweeps you off your feet. And then you give everything. You throw all these emotional webs out there, like you said before. You give everything. And then one day you're at a bar with this person, for example, and you're like, who is this person? I just feel as lonely or more lonely than I was when I started.
Yeah.
That can also happen. And that's terrible. I would rather be alone with Holy Spirit in the presence of peace than lonely with somebody that's a misfit.
Absolutely.
And I can imagine that's how maybe people felt with me as well when I didn't do the work and they were with me. It goes both ways. I never want to be there again. Do the work. Again, wait before you date. Do the work. I remember I had this one client. This is really an exception to the rule. She came to see me, and I told her, wait before you date, and she didn't listen. And there was also an app, I think, I'm not sure, and she met a guy, and they're still together today.
Wow.
They've got a beautiful family. They are a blended family, and they just make it work. So it can work.
Yeah.
Again, I believe that's the exception.
I agree with that.
So don't not do it. However, if you do it, do it sober.
Yeah, 100%. And treat it like it should all, take the sort of excitement away from it. It must almost be like clinical.
Very.
Yeah, very clinical. You're on a mission now, you understand? And you have to do this sober. You're 100% right. You cannot be drawn into this whole fantasy. Oh, it's so my God. So have your list. When you do match with someone, disengage Tinder.
Yeah.
So that you can focus on that one person and get to a conclusion very, very quickly.
Yes.
I would also tell people that don't just meet up for coffee, because you're going to waste a lot of time in doing that. I would say you should almost be like, get a video voice note or a video call with that person, or like just a WhatsApp video voice note.
Yes.
So that you can at least see, number one, that the person looks like they like their profile photos.
Yes, such good advice.
So do that
before you go on an in-person date. Actually, have a video call.
Have a video call.
Yes.
So that you can. I mean, Tilesia, when you meet someone new, in the first minute you will know if there's something or not. Okay, you see.
Red flags.
Red flag, something is off.
And then what do? Now you have this commitment of now we have to have a meal, or we even go away and meet someone somewhere.
Yeah.
Now in that first second, that's what happened to me. I was like, oh, shibbit. Now, who know?
Ja.
Hoe kom ek nou hier uit?
Yeah. I mean, I've had 2 experiences where I chatted up a storm with 2 ladies. Conversation was just amazing. I mean, amazing conversations. We talked about amazing stuff. And the moment I met them up, they didn't look at all like their profile pictures. It almost felt to me like I have to call them Tannie.
Oops.
Seriously. Now you have to sit through that freaking date. You understand? Where that could have been avoided.
Yep.
If we did a video call.
Yep.
Quickly. Problem solved.
Yes.
So I would say, get a video call as soon as possible. How do you feel about I know I had one lady, so I had actually a list of questions that I would send them. Okay, do you smoke? Do you do this? Are you in a church? What? Because I was intentional with online dating. And one lady actually ghosted me after that. She said, listen, this is what a load of nonsense. You're taking the fun out of meeting new people.
Oh.
You're taking the fun out of it. It's not natural conversation because you're asking me all these freaking deep questions or just straightforward questions. No, man, ghosted me after that.
Oh, wow.
Or just blocked me.
Oh, wow.
I was like, oh, yeah, okay.
Okay.
But how do you feel about that? If you like, probably not the first thing that you send that person once you've matched with them. But perhaps just listen, I'm going to send you this list of questions. I don't mind answering it as well. But just to get to know you, do you think that will take the fun out of it, or will that help you to get to a conclusion sooner?
I think it depends on who the people are, like, I don't know. It's a very interesting question. I think it can work both ways,
Yeah.
So you kind of had it unlucky with that lady because I think it's a good idea to say, listen, I'm very intentional about this. These are my questions. How do you feel about this,
Yeah.
I think I should get maybe out of my head the perception that you're going to meet someone and it's just going to be great. It's just going to be godly. Because when God matches you, that's beautiful. I believe that is really beautiful, especially if you've waited a long time and you speak to him and he speaks to you about it. So yes, I would say do that then. And if you get ghosted, you get ghosted. That girl wouldn't then in any event at one stage not live up to that list. So whoever you tick off with a list, well, good riddance. It got through it quicker, you know.
Yeah.
It is fun getting to know someone. I think it's really, really fun. However, be cautious that you aren't falling in love with the idea.
Yes. Yeah. 100%.
Because that is the biggest problem, is that we fall in love with the idea, then we cannot go back.
Yeah.
Then we struggle to go back because I've shared so much and I've put you on this pedestal, and now how do I, let me just give it a go. You don't give something a go when from the go ahead you didn't get a go to go with. I hope you hear that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. Oh, yeah, this is such a, again, I just want to reiterate that. Stay away if you can. Just stay away if you can.
Or at least, maybe, this is, just another thing, pay for it.
Oh, that's part of my strategy. That was part of my strategy, actually.
Stay away
Very
or pay.
good idea.
Stay away or pay.
Or pay.
Boom. We've got it.
100%.
Stay away or pay.
The moment you pay for Tinder,
Yep.
you actually don't have to swipe, like spend 20 hours swiping the whole time. You can like see who swiped on your profile and then make a decision whether you want to match with this person or not. So that's after seeing my Boda a couple of times, that became my strategy.
Yeah, that's good.
Back in the days, I mean, that was like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree with that actually.
Yeah.
I 100% agree with that.
Find Christian apps. I'm sure there's Christian apps out there. I've heard that there are. And then also pay for it.
Yeah.
Because people who want to catfish you, for those who don't know what's catfishing, it's when it's someone that's fake and it's maybe a guy pretending to be a girl with beautiful blonde hair or whatever. I'm not saying blonde. I wanted to say something else, but then I'm like, no, don't say that. Okay. Beautiful Portuguese, photos. So then it may be another person from another country being, fake on their profiles. Yeah. So you avoid that to a large degree. And somebody who pays for that is also intentional. They're intentional of eliminating the, those little vissies hieronder. They're intentional of catching a big shark or a whale or an orca or something. Orca. A big one, a big fish.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they've got good bait. They pay good money for.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Absolutely.
If you then want to.
And also, Tilesia, while you were speaking now, we should really learn the art of rejection. Very politely, just say, listen, I value your time. It was great to meet you. This is not going to go forward for me. And it's nothing personal. I've just got a very specific fish that I want to catch.
Net so.
So, I mean, guys, we should obviously learn the art of hunting.
Yeah.
But women especially need to learn the art of rejection.
Yes.
And not just ghost people. I mean, that's so stupid. It's so immature. Why can't we just be real about this whole thing? Listen, I'm very intentional about this thing. I'm looking for something very, very specific. And I know the chances of me finding this person is very, very slim.
Yes.
But yes, it was amazing to meet you.
Yeah.
And I wish you all the best on your journey going forward.
What you just described is basically the cornerstones of conscious communication. Where when I do this in my workshops and I present the cornerstones of conscious communication, I speak about the first pillar, which is appreciation. So listen, I appreciate meeting you and I appreciate spending, or engaging with you, and I appreciate that, we had this nice meal, or I appreciate that we had this nice chat. And then to say, what I actually need from this, or what I actually intended, or what I actually wanted. And I think that I'm going to have to browse a little bit more to find that for me. And I know it's a me thing, so it's not a you thing,
Yeah.
Or to be open and honest to say, I'd really appreciate our chats. I just feel at times that you speak a bit under the belt, and I'm not I'm not like
there.
that.
Yeah.
You know, and I fear that if you continue speaking under the belt, I'm going to disengage in our conversation because it's not something that I'd like to entertain.
Yeah.
So what I would like is if you don't speak under the belt, you know, what do you need from me? If you want to further engage in this, if you have reason to still want to speak to that person, or if you speak to the person and they're blasphemous. Look, I won't even engage in that. I won't entertain that. Say they swear and you don't like swearing anymore because it swells your ears or something, you know, pollutes your ears. Then I would say, you know what, I really enjoy chatting with you. At times I just get the idea that you tend to use the F word more than other times when we're watching rugby or something, you know. So to engage in that conscious conversation. People don't often have conscious conversation.
100%.
And consciously ending a relationship or a meeting then is also difficult for people. To a large degree, we weren't really raised to take rejection well and or to reject well, because we often in our fight, flight, freeze brain. So we do it from that place. We either fight, shout and blame and, being blasphemous or gaslighting a person, or we freeze, so we can't do anything. We just leave it. We just ignore. We just leave it, or we flee. We ghost.
Yeah.
So to get back into your frontal lobe and to have a rational discussion with somebody, either to continue the relationship or the chatting on specific terms that make you feel comfortable, to set boundaries. People are not very good at setting boundaries. That's why it's so important to go on a boundaries workshop, to do that, to learn how to say no, intentionally and with appreciation, consciously.
Yeah.
And then, while we are busy chatting, you want to be liked so much. You want to be liked so much that you kind of loose your own list. You loosen the grips of your list. You let things slide because you want to be liked so much. One of my clients said, well, I don't know, I hope he likes me. And I looked at her and I'm like, what else can we say?
Yeah.
And she said, I can say, I wonder if I would like him.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at in my life.
Absolutely.
I'm not there like, I want you to like me.
No.
I'm there like, am I going to like you?
Yes.
Are you going to bring to the table what I need?
And that's where we all should be.
Exactly. Who's at your table? Otherwise, I'm eating alone and I'm providing for that food, and it's good food. So yes, it's not a question of will they like me? It's a question of will I like them?
Yeah.
And if I have that mindset, I feel safe for you to say, okay, I'll go on online dating, because then if I have that mindset, I won't get swooped away by all this false hormonal conversation, and then you will know when to say, no, I want to get off and I want to delete.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, so we've said, have your list. When you do match with someone, disengage from the rest.
Yes.
Focus on that one person. Look out for your red flags. Don't ignore them. Don't share too much of yourself. Maybe and engage with that person to see and point back to your list with your questions. Make sure that there's alignment.
Yes.
And then do a video call as soon as possible.
Yes.
Just to make sure that person looks like their profile photos.
And not like a tannie.
Not like a tannie, asseblief. And then, so another thing.
And pay?
Pay for the platform, that's 100% right. Because then you can see who swiped on your profile. And you can decide, listen, if I want to match with this person or not. I'm not sure how Kur works for the paid version.
I was on it too little time.
Me too. I mean, I didn't really spend time on Kur. But I know Tinder works like that you can see who actually swiped on your profile. But again, stay away from it if you can. And then another thing, when you do meet up with people, please don't invite them back to your home. Very dangerous. You know, I would rather just say, and don't book like fancy meals and stuff. You know, especially guys. I mean, I know we feel pressure to provide and to pay for stuff. Don't make it expensive, man. Just go grab a coffee, because I mean, you never know where this might end up. Keep it cheap, keep it simple, and please don't invite anyone to your home unless you've spent like months with them, a month or two. Remember, this is like a
random person somewhere.
You don't know.
You don't know. You don't, again, bring back to that dream I had. You don't know this person from a bar of soap. You don't know what gogos they have, how it looks in their environment.
Yeah.
So especially ladies, don't bring a guy home. Like, don't. Ons Afrikaanse mense vertrou so maklik.
Absolutely.
You know, just like say the right thing. Name this pastor's name and name this, you know, celebrity, maybe in as far as it's a celebrity, or name this or say this.
Quote a scripture.
You know, quote a scripture, and there we are. Boom, kom kuier vir my. Kom drink sommer by my tee.
Yeah.
You know? So no, that is a no-no.
Yeah.
We have to be cautious and conscious about online dating.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, right? Otherwise, you can get your fingers burned. Of wat het jy gesê? Jy sien jou boude.
Sien jou boude, absoluut.
Yeah.
And then also don't ignore the red flags. Please don't ignore the red flags. And communicate that as soon as that red flag is up.
Oh yes, that's very important. The moment the red flag is there, name it, put it on the table. Say, I wish my younger self, I would have told her. In that moment, I would have met the guy and said, oh, well, I had such a nice time spending with you, and I had such a nice conversation with you, and I kind of feel a little bit uneasy at the moment. I don't know what it is. Would you give me a moment? You know, can we maybe revisit this? Maybe I'm just not ready to meet in person yet. You know, this was something I did that was out of the box for me. It's not you. I just need some time to reflect. Nothing in life prevents you from putting a pause on something that you're not ready for.
Yeah.
And to say it. We're so scared to say it.
100%, Elise. You are in control of your life, 100%. Don't be ashamed or scared or afraid to communicate that.
Yes.
I mean, it's your life. It's your garden. You understand? You don't want any dog to come and make a number 2 on your garden, in your garden.
No.
You're not going to allow that.
No.
So have boundaries.
Yes.
And communicate that. Don't be scared to communicate that. 100%. I love what you said now. And then also,
I'll say this while you're thinking, if that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of the fruits of the Spirit. Okay. And I'm thinking also of self-control. And I'm thinking of how we often can make this a very commercial, very just a lackadaisy thing. Oh, sitting in the gym. Oh, I'm chatting to this girl and this girl and this girl. Look and laugh or, you know, have you heard of that one again? Or have you heard of that one again? Or girls give guys name. Have you heard of this one again? Have you heard of this? And it becomes like just somewhere willy-nilly.
Yeah.
Where if you think about it, you are exchanging personal, sometimes intimate, private details of your life with these people, like you said, more than one at a time, and now you and your friends are joking about this, and then what often happen is that you feel so almost shy or ashamed or stupid to then not go ahead with this because you've invested so much time, and your friends would say, but you have spoken to them, why don't you continue? Or you get that peer pressure. You know, there's a lot of things that go ahead. So what I actually want you to hear is find a circle of friends that keep you accountable to your list and to your own values, so that you do have self-control
100%.
and you don't fall in this pit, or having girlfriends that kind of encourage it. You know, or having boyfriends, male friends that kind of encourage this, and having more than one chat with. No, encourage it, and it's not to be encouraged. You know, it's actually, like we said, very dangerous, and you're wasting your time. All of that. Be sober. That's basically
100%.
Have self-control. Be sober.
Yeah.
And if something doesn't work for you, say it out loud. You know, don't try to make something work that's not going to work. If you have all the recipes for a cake and you've baked the cake and it's in the oven and it comes out and it's a flop, you ain't gonna get it right.
Yeah.
maak nie saak hoeveel icing jy opsit nie.
100%.
It's not going to work.
Ja.
It's still going to be a flop of a cake. Don't icing it right.
Ja.
If it doesn't feel right, leave it.
Leave it.
Bottom line.
100%. Bless you, brother. 100%. Tot ziens.
Bless you. Cheers.
Another thing, when you do go out on a date, Tilesia, make sure that you let someone know
Yes.
exactly where you are going. A close friend, a family member, your parents. Someone close to you needs to know that you are going out. Exactly where you're going to be, and they need to check in with you 2 hours later or an hour later. I think it might sound stupid, but you need to protect yourself because you don't know what's out there.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. And then also I wanted to say that
Also don't drink like drinks with a
Stay away
person
from
that you
alcohol.
don't know.
100%.
You know, there's stuff out there like you can get roofied. Or in my case, in my previous life, when I roofied myself, I'm not very proud of that.
Yeah.
when you drink too much because you just don't know better and or not whole. That can also happen, and then you put
Yeah.
yourself in danger.
Absolutely.
To be date raped or something.
Yeah.
Anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
It's crazy out there.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
People must also realize, at least, that you cannot change anything about anyone else. If there's a red flag, and I've seen this, and I read this on that same Facebook page, where ladies said that, but he's so wonderful, he's so amazing, I love him, I really do, and it's only been 2 months.
Whoa.
But he's cutting himself, and he's got suicidal tendencies and major red flags. And also, he's got a drinking problem. But I mean, but I can fix him. I can fix him, or he can change. You cannot change anyone. So if that's why I'm saying, back to your boundaries and your red flags. If there's a red flag, don't ignore it.
Exactly.
Don't think that person will change for you. They are not. When you are in a relationship, and even when that turns into a marriage, whatever is brought into it can be multiplied by 100
Oh, yes.
in a marriage and in a relationship.
Oh, yes.
So people need to realize that.
Definitely. The thing about change is it doesn't happen until I want it to happen. I can only change myself. And what I know about change is that it's very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It shakes you. It rattles you. It brings you out of places that was comfortable, even though it was not healthy. And to do the work, you need to change, and you need to change to do the work, and it's not easy. So I have 100% come to the realization that I cannot change anybody.
Yeah.
Nobody. You will change if you want to change.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you have that idea in your mind, then you have the wrong mindset, and you're going into a losing battle, to be honest.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, no.
100%.
No, I think the bottom line is people are so, if I say people, we as people, you know, can get so lonely that anything is okay. And if you're there, then you have to know and notice the red flags within yourself. Because it's good to say, notice the red flags in other people. Notice the red flags in yourself. If you don't want to be alone on a Friday night because there's a braai, you don't want to be alone at a braai, and you bring your half self or your unhealed self to other people, you need to notice the red flags in yourself and delete whatever app you're on and really go and do the work.
100%.
And something that also comes up for me, if you can and you want to take somebody on a date, a first date, go to church. Lekker.
Awesome.
Go to church.
You can see how they praise and worship.
You can see how they praise and worship.
connect.
You can see how they connect. You can feel how it
love
feels
it.
to be with them. Yes, 100%.
What a good idea.
Meet me at church. This is my safe place. This is where I feel loved. There's accountability there. Nobody has to know unless you're a small church like I'm in. They will definitely know that I'm there with someone, and that's cool. We can pray for you afterwards.
Yeah.
That also takes almost the burden, if that's the right word, but it takes that edge off having to, what are we going to say to each other? And who's going to pay the bill? And what are we going to eat? And is there something in my teeth? Or just go to church together.
I love it.
I know, right? I just thought about it.
That's brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant.
It's definitely not going to make me go back to online dating.
Hashtag stay away.
Hashtag God can bring him.
Yeah. Okay, but God can bring him. I hear what you're saying. God can bring him, but he who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord. So there's seeking involved. And I think this is what that whole thing is about. Just stay away from online dating, okay? Can we talk about pictures? Like online dating platforms, it's a visual thing. You are visually attracted to that person. Because, you can only go on what you see. People can tell you a little bit about themselves, but you are attracted to what you see. What sort of pictures do you think should people put out there? Obviously, number one, don't take pictures of don't put pictures of your children on.
No children photos.
Absolutely. You can say that you are a mom of 2 or a father of 3 or whatever.
Yep.
But don't expose your children. Don't get them involved in this whole thing. It's extremely dangerous.
Very, very dangerous. We know that. People get pictures of your children and then they actually find out where you live. It's so easy to find out where someone lives. So that's also, don't put your vicinity, your work vicinity, or your house, company name or stuff, and don't put a picture of your house. I live in Markbosstrand, so it's a small town. So if I'm going to put a picture of where I live, people can drive and they can go and look for it. So be cautious about that. And also fake pictures. I know we all, I can't say we all, some of us like to pose and goeie pout. Ek het ook al lekker gepout in my lewe, and then I just realized, no, I'm very deliberate about the pictures I now put on Facebook. Or online, because I know God also uses my Facebook as a platform to provide information and to honor him.
100%.
So I'm not going to put a picture of a low cleavage, or I'm not going to put a picture with me and with a beer. Not that I drink beer, but it's just like don't do that. What do you want to portray?
Absolutely.
And stay away from fake. That's what comes up for me.
100%.
Because at the end of the day, we all love natural. You're going to meet that person most probably, and
I think the thing is, Tilesia, you want someone to like you and accept you and love you just for who you are.
Yeah.
Why do you want to put on photos of 10 years back? Why?
Yeah.
You understand? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So I would say, when it comes to pictures, no children. Number one. Number two, I would also suggest take a full body photo.
Yes.
Full body photo. Why be ashamed of who you are? Why?
Yeah.
Why? Why just put close-ups or selfies of your face with filters? No, man. And I think there should be maybe a mix between nice corporate photos or professional photos and just nice pictures, man.
Hobbies, playing paddle or, golfing a bit, or on the beach, something nice, like a hobby, something you enjoy doing.
Yeah.
And instead of just selfies, there's professional tips out there how to build a online dating profile.
Yeah, it's interesting because everything about you at the end of the day says something about you.
Yes.
So if you're going to put cleavage photos out there, what is that saying about you?
Yes.
And that is what you're going to attract. Remember, the bait that you put out there, that's the fish that you're going to catch at the end of the day.
True.
So be very, very careful. Rather get like an image consultant perhaps, or a good friend. Listen, these are the photos that I want to put online. What do you think of this?
Yeah.
I don't know. What freaked me out was like the weird photos that you would see. And I don't know, it must be on your side as well. Many of my lady friends who's also on the platforms told me that they are so sick and tired of freaking guys posing with a fish.
I wanted to say that, and then I wasn't sure if I could. I'm like, why do you put a picture of you in your onderbroek? It looks like an onderbroek, but it's maybe like a Speedo kind of. No Speedos, number one. No, you
Yeah.
don't. Okay, number 1. Number 2, no fish photos. Leave the fish alone. Like, please, people, leave
It's
the
so
fish
funny.
alone.
Yeah.
Big fish, small fish, fish.
Yeah.
Why? I don't want to see a picture of a fish with you. It's
Yeah.
just, it's very unattractive. So sorry, guys. Delete the fish pic.
You probably want to communicate that, listen, I'm an adventurous guy, I like the outdoors and stuff.
No, but not in
not
that
with
fashion.
a fish, my word.
There's a nice
That's weird.
picture where you maybe have a picture from behind and you are fishing.
Yeah.
And it's a nice back. I've seen that before. That's nice.
Yeah.
You know, that's very nice.
Yeah.
That shows that this guy can fish.
Yeah.
You know, hunting pictures are okay, and it depends where you put all the blood. That's also not going to work. You know,
Yeah.
big guns and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then also, you're in a bar. I don't know. Maybe for some people that's attractive, but in a bar and with drinks, and you can see, you know, it's just.
What does that say about you?
What does that say about your list?
Yes, exactly.
I've drank in my life. I have my fair share.
Yeah.
You know, I know where I come from. I'm not shy about my past.
Yeah.
It's taught me a lot, you know. I read a beautiful quote yesterday. It says, the final part of your healing is where you can help people from your pain, help heal people from their pain, the pain that you've healed from. So it boils down to the final part of healing is where you actually give back what you have healed from. You know, so when I speak about this, I know the path I've walked, you know, with my fair share of healing and alcohol and I almost said abuse, addiction. Okay. So there's no judgment. I'm just saying, what are you portraying then?
Yeah.
You know, when you're sitting there with a beer or with your bikini and jy soek vir moeilikheid.
Absolutely.
You are just looking for somebody to roofie you.
Absolutely.
It is what it is.
So don't be confused then
Yeah.
when
Yeah, when that is the bait that you put out there, that's the fish that you're going to
Yeah.
catch.
but I got bitten again by a shark. I got bitten again. Yeah, sorry.
Ja, want jou bikini is te klein.
Ja, jy wys bietjie te veel.
It is what it is.
Ja.
It is what it is. You know, and we're human. And you get that thing where you have to intentionally decide, am I going to pursue this out of my flesh or out of my spirit?
Ja.
As a Christian,
100%.
born again Christian, come on.
100%.
Are you going to pursue this from your flesh or from your spirit? I think this is what makes our collaboration so great and how we met. There was a spiritual connection, most
Absolutely.
definitely. We went to church together.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
We did.
There was our spirits were dominant in this, and I
100%.
honor God for that because
There was
this,
alignment.
so alignment, and it's beautiful, you know. So get out of your flesh and stay connected to the vine. If you then
100%.
want to put yourself in a very, very, very dangerous platform, if you want to put yourself on a very dangerous platform, be aware that your
100%.
spirit has to be in control.
100%, Alicia. And on that point, I want to say that stay away from sexual conversations.
Yep.
That can sort of, I mean, it's super exciting to talk about this stuff. It's super exciting to share your preferences. It's super exciting to, and I mean, I'm just being completely honest with you
Totally.
now.
Totally.
It's super exciting to talk about your past marriage and how things were there in the bedroom. And the moment you do that, you trigger your own endorphins and you become unconscious in this whole process. And that is a sort of a trap.
It's a door you open.
It's a door that you open up. So stay away from sexual conversation. And that should actually be like a sort of a major red flag. And something that you need to communicate with someone. Listen, yeah, I appreciate your question, but I don't want to go there.
Yes.
That is sort of a sacred space for me.
Yes. Yes.
And you know, when we get to know each other, maybe in 6 months' time,
Yes.
or
There's a time and a place for everything.
there's a time and a place for everything, but not on Tinder.
Yeah.
Not when you've known
No.
someone for a week, a day, a month even. Stay away from those conversations. And being spirit-led in this whole thing. I mean, that's not going to align with Holy Spirit.
No.
Not at all. So you have to stay sensitive.
Yes.
and be very, very deliberate with and intentional with your online dating if you do go on it.
Exactly. And I think the reason why I can easily go there is often on Tinder or online Facebook.
Yeah.
You find divorced people.
Yes.
So they've had sex. Because you've been there, it's easy then to go back there.
100%, because it's familiar.
It's
You've
familiar.
been there. You've already had sex.
Yes. And also because we're grown up now or you have children or whatever. The thing is, and I don't know if it's an Afrikaans thing, we often go back to, hoe was dit in jou huwelik?
100%.
And if you are healed and if you are whole and if you have allowed God to fix that and restore you, that will be the last thing I want to speak to someone new I meet, is their past relationship.
100%.
Seriously, I can't be bothered. I want to know you. I want to know your habits. I want to understand where you come from. Give me your opinions. Do you like this? Do you dislike this? Like, it should be an adventure, not some stroll back into the past.
Yeah.
However, people do easily go back into the past and then share stuff like, in my marriage, I was cheated on, so now you're a victim. Oh, goodness. So now it's this victim triangle. And I rescue you, you're the victim. We can talk about a victim triangle. Let's do a podcast on victim triangles.
Fascinating
I would
stuff.
love it.
Yeah.
Because that is what we do in relationships. You know? Okay. And then you start sharing these intimate stories. And then next thing you know it, we don't really have to have any real deep connection or barrier or something. We just see each other, boom, there we're in bed together. It's so dangerous, and it happens. You know, it happens. Let's not pussyfoot around this. It is what it is.
We are all human at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But this is all about
Being spirit-led, like you
being
said.
spirit-led.
And if I'm in my room and I'm on my phone and my hair hasn't been washed for 6 days and I haven't brushed my teeth and I'm there and I'm my false self, okay, I can easily sit there and engage all sorts of nonsense that spirit will not be happy with.
Yeah.
That Holy Spirit just will not be happy with.
Yeah.
You know, instead of taking that whole conversation and putting it out there, one-on-one, in person, I'm not going to be so comfortable to speak about that.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
So we're pushing boundaries and pushing it a bit too far while we get to know each other on WhatsApp. So that's maybe another thing to consider.
100%.
Is, do we stay online? How soon do we go to WhatsApp? And then how soon do we meet? There's a part of me that feels meet sooner than later.
And you're 100% right.
Because I can have this whole relationship on WhatsApp, and it is so fake. It's so self-driven. It's so narcissistic. It's so all about me and my pleasures and my lack of impulse control. Because let me show you my burger for lunch. Okay, let me get attention from you. Okay, good night. There's that joke that newly people who start chatting, then the girl or the boy would say, okay, I'm just quickly going to get water. And then the other person will chat, okay, be safe. Just so fake.
That's so cringe.
Be safe.
Ah,
I'll come back. It's just so fake.
yeah, 100%.
God, I pray for my husband. I pray for him because at the end of the day, you want this. To be with somebody special.
Absolutely.
And if you go out then and put yourself on Tinder, please don't forget how much you have worked to have this sacred garden.
Yeah.
And if you don't have this sacred garden yet, just don't even do it and go back to the drawing board.
100%. There's a question I want to ask you. If there's like sort of a way how you can spot or catch a narcissist or identify one. Because I mean, I think it's very important in like this online dating experience. The sooner you can catch someone out, the better. Or the sooner you can spot like a red flag. I listened to a podcast recently where an expert said that he's got one question that he asks people usually. And it's like, it doesn't always work. But when they say, when I say to people, what have you learned about yourself in your past relationship that didn't work out? And he said the moment when a narcissist answers that, they would project. They would say, well, one thing I've learned was to never trust men. You know, it's like, it's not an inward look, it's outward. Whoopsie.
Totally. Get it.
So is that the
Very
case? Can
good.
you relate to that?
Very, very, very good question to ask. If somebody wants to now go and take a stroll down memory lane, which I think is definitely not something you do from the outset, you know, like there's a time and place for that. I'm getting to know you. Really don't want to bring your ex-girlfriend, ex-wife, ex-husband, ex-boyfriend into this sacred space now, you know. So that's one thing to be cautious of. If they start doing that very early on, to say that they were wrong, they did this, they did that, so they will expose themselves very quickly, because they will give the other person a blame. No, I'm single because they.
Okay.
Then you have to know, ooh, red flag. Number 2, if they can't say, for example, what they've learned, if they can't reflect back and say, you know what, the problem was actually with me.
Yeah.
Part of the problem was with me.
Part of it, yeah.
You know, because I wasn't fully honest with myself, or I wasn't healed and I brought my destruction to the relationship, you know, if you then want an honest answer. Another way, especially with narcissists, is love bombing.
Okay.
The moment you spot the love bombing, be so afraid. Like, put on your best jogging shoes and run for the hills.
So love bombing, that's a big one.
Big one.
So what does that
Big
look
one.
like, please?
Oh, goodness. That's just like from the beginning. You are the greatest. You are the best. I'm sending you flowers. I'm buying you chocolate with your name on it. I'm buying us tickets for a massage. We go all in too much too soon.
Okay.
Too much. It's total love bombing. And you get love bombing not only from your potential partner. It can be from colleagues.
Okay.
It can be from friends. If somebody, it's just unnatural.
I'm with you.
You know, we don't bomb someone with so much love.
Yeah. There should be a natural progression
Yeah.
in a relationship.
The fruit-
Not like,
The fruit of the spirit is self-control. I
yeah.
have self-control.
Yeah.
You know, I know when to and when not to.
Yeah.
Somebody that wants to love bomb you wants to throw all the attention on you so that you can get hooked. So that the moment you're hooked, you will most probably feel guilty for wanting to end it.
Sure.
You know,
And
one
that-
of the reasons.
So that's their way of like sort of getting their claws in.
Oh, yeah.
And then the manipulation starts and the control starts.
And the gaslighting.
The gaslighting.
Yeah, no. So that is a big no-no.
Okay. So
Yeah.
just be aware of that. I mean, that's what we wanted to say.
Yeah.
So there are like sort of typical red flags that you can look out for.
Can one of the red flags also be if you can't spell?
It depends if that's important for you. I
Yes,
mean,
like. So very important.
Yeah.
Or the best is VMJ, WMJ. Wat maak jy?
Ugh.
Oh my goodness. You know, like really?
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah.
So if somebody can't spell, or they want to come with these acronyms or so, or LOL or whatever, you know, I know there's examples and there's examples.
Yeah.
For me personally, bless his soul, I once dated a guy, just like very short dating.
Yeah.
And he really couldn't spell. He couldn't. And then he downloaded an app.
Okay.
So he wouldn't send me a message
Without
if he
checking.
didn't check it on the app. Yeah, I really appreciated that.
No, that's
He was a
that's
very
cool.
kind, godly man. Yeah, I really appreciated that. I mean, it didn't help at the end of the day, you know, because we weren't meant to be together.
100%.
And God clearly told me 1 year with me,
Yeah.
you know, so
Yeah.
you have to also ask God, what does he want?
Yeah.
Because I can do anything I want. I can say, do online dating. These are your 7 steps to safe online dating. Did God say you can?
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
You know?
100%.
Because God knows what's out there. Be wise as a serpent, be gentle as a dove.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And also, Tilesia, I think while you were speaking now, something that came up for me is also be accountable to someone. Be accountable to leadership. Get that person that's like 10, 15, 20 years older than you that's walked this road before.
Yeah.
And that can just like talk into your life and like sort of strategize with you. Just like get the accountability partner, not a peer.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's very important not to do this journey with a peer.
Yeah.
With someone that's on your level, a friend, a family member, because they're not going to shoot straight with you.
Well, they're not. They're going to either encourage you. It's going to be a joke. It's going to be a willy-nilly thing. And this is serious. This is really your life you're talking about.
100%.
Not just your life. Well, it's your life. So not just dating. You opening yourself and your children up to meeting people that may cause a very big delay in your life.
Yes.
That may cause a delay for God's perfect person. So just be aware of that. Because the road to I believe the road of online dating it's not like gold. It's filled or paved with gold. It's filled with double keys. What do you call it? It's filled with thorns.
Danger.
There's weeds and thorns, and it's dangerous territory. And just know that if you then decide that you're going to embark on the online dating journey, that you may put a very big pause on the proper person that God has for you.
100%.
You know, because every choice we make can either be a derail or it can be a delay.
Yeah.
And I've lived that in my life. I have made choices that I think have put delays in terms of what God wants for me. Either my character that's not built yet, because I'm still in my flesh, or it's because I made wrong choices and I entertained the wrong people. Where God wanted me to be with somebody else, maybe I'm putting it out there. May not have been, and that's a realization that you have to live with. So be sure that if you put that profile on there, that you may very well put a big pause on what God wants for you.
Yeah, 100%.
Can be that.
Yeah. If you're not careful, that can cause major delays. I fully agree with that.
Exactly.
And also, you just back to our strategy again. Maybe it might even be a good idea that if you do go the online dating route, not to add your surname on your profile, just your name.
Yep.
I want people to be super, super cautious. You know, because you get a lot of people that will stalk you. If they know your surname, they'll stalk you, man. You know, they'll find you, they'll track you down. Yeah, just a side note.
Yeah. And then if they do watch your online stuff, and so they can fall in love with you, you know, or you can fall in love with them before you even know them.
100%.
Yeah,
Make up a story in your head about this
Exactly.
person and fall in love with the idea.
Yeah. It's a fallacy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. Tilesia, have we missed anything? Is there anything else that we can say about online dating, except for staying away?
Except for staying away. If you want to play, if you want to play, you can play. However, if you want to do it, not play, just pay. You know, like just be mindful about this whole thing, and be mindful and know that at the end of the day, this is also a choice you're going to make. You know, unless your friends put you on Tinder, and it's still your choice to stay on it.
Yeah.
Because choices create.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, if you are going to create a life on a platform that's out in the cyber realm, that's out there, you have to be aware of what's out there
100%.
and the danger that's out there.
100%.
You subscribe to that basically.
Yeah.
You know, it is just the way it is. It's like when you go to a club. You know you're going to go to a club. You're going to walk out there. You're going to either be drunk or you're going to be sober and irritated. You're going to smell like smoke. You're going
Yes.
to have maybe klipdrif or brandewyn or something on you because somebody has bumped on you.
Yeah.
You're going to have filthy shoes. It's going to be late. There's going to be cops on the road. You know that. You know that is how it is if you go to a club. You're maybe going to get so drunk that you're not going to know what you did the next morning. That's just what it is. Same with online dating.
Yeah.
You're going to subscribe to that.
Yeah.
You know you're going to meet people with fake profiles. You're going to meet people that's going to stalk you. You're going to meet people that can't spell.
Yeah.
You're going to meet people who have double lives,
Yeah.
who are not being honest with who they are, if they're married, if they're divorced.
Yeah.
You're going to meet people who have ulterior motives and who just want to
100%.
get you in bed.
100%.
You know,
And
like that's just it.
And I mean, for born again Christian, that's like going to be 80% of the cases.
Yep.
It's a worldly platform. Let's just be honest. I mean, even Christian platforms out there. I know there are Christian platforms. The fact that there's a Christian or a fish on the
Moifissy.
if there's a moifissy on that platform, doesn't mean that that you're going to be equally yoked with everyone.
Yeah. You can be a Christian on a Christian platform and still not hear from God.
Exactly. Yeah.
Bottom line.
Yeah, and still be led by your flesh as well.
Yes.
100%.
It doesn't take away from the fact that we remain human. Paul said, what I want to do, I don't do.
Yeah.
And that which I wish to do, you know, or that which I wish not to do, I do,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So this has been a human condition. So the bottom line, and I think to end off, is to say, ask God. Like, ask Holy Spirit, do you want me to do this?
Yeah.
Is this okay?
Yeah.
Can I be here? Is this where you see me for now? Is this something for this season? Lord, I'm lonely. Send me someone. You know, send me a group. Send me healing. Put me in touch with a coach. Help me to start a cell group.
Yeah.
Think outside the box. Don't let it become shameful. Speak to your pastor and say, listen, don't judge me. I'm on Tinder. Can you hold me accountable? You
Yeah.
know, put it in the light. Brene Brown beautifully speaks about shame, where she says, anything that you bring to the light doesn't have a hold on you. God says that.
Yeah.
You know, what you bring to the light
Love it.
has no hold on you. So bring it to the light. Don't do this alone. Please don't do online dating alone.
Yeah.
You know?
Don't be nonchalant about the whole thing.
Absolutely.
I think, and that's why we've done this podcast today, Tilesia, is to create awareness.
Yes.
People need to know that, listen, yeah, rather just stay away. There has to be other ways of meeting new people. But
yes.
if you do go down this route, be aware of the dangers that's lurking in the dark.
Yeah. Be wise as a serpent and gentle as a dove.
Yeah.
Be very wise.
Especially Christians, because we are vulnerable.
Yes.
Yeah. Especially
The enemy would love to steal your destiny
100%.
with a few counterfeits.
100%.
That's purely why I'm not going on a dating site. Look, I like chatting to people. I like receiving messages. I like
Meeting new people,
You know, meeting
absolutely.
new people. It's grand. You know, it would be lovely. You know, and going on hikes and doing new things. And no, I'm just not going to fall into a trap that the enemy can use ultimately against me and cause a delay.
Yeah.
It would be stupid.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's just what it
absolutely.
is.
The enemy is walking around like a roaring lion,
Yep.
seeking whom he may devour.
Yep.
And I think that's the sort of mindset that you have to have when you do engage with online dating platforms. Be very, very, very cautious and
Yeah.
very aware.
Yeah.
But yeah, rather just go and speak to your pastor, man. See
Yeah.
what can be done
What can be done in
internally.
church?
Yeah.
Internally.
In
Like,
church.
help us. We need to, like, mingle, single and ready to mingle, especially in big churches, right?
100%.
It's so important.
Especially in big churches, because I think it's so easy just to be like a number and you just like disappear in the crowd.
Yes.
100%.
And there's also a lot of people on that platform that you spoke about, you know, trou ideas and so. There's
yes.
quite a lot of people who ask, where can I meet?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
start it. Like, be the pioneer. Start something. Start a card game at a mug and bean.
Yeah.
Put it on the website of Throw Ideas. Collaborate with them. Say, listen, I want to start something like that. Can I advertise it here? You know, like be the one. You are the one with the question. Be the answer.
Are you speaking to me now?
No,
Because
I don't know.
I'm thinking I should start a speed dating,
I would love that. I choose us.
like sort of a controlled,
Yes.
well planned,
Yes.
structured,
Yes.
with accountability.
Yes. I love a I choose us board game idea.
Okay.
Yes. Or cards, you know, like conversation starters.
Yeah.
I think that's amazing. You
Yeah.
know, where people get together and they start this.
Oh, that's cool. I love that.
Yeah.
Like sort of a speed dating with a twist, you know.
Yeah.
There's like a...
We give you the conversation starters. So pick up a card and go.
Oh, that's cool.
And then you can
Yeah.
always bring in imago.
Yeah.
I hear you say. So
Oh,
teach
I
them
love
the
it.
dialogue. I know.
I love it.
I've had this idea. Now, I kind of started with the cards.
Yeah.
And then my coaching name changed. So it was kind of paused.
Yeah.
So let's talk.
Okay.
Let's chat.
Very exciting stuff.
Oh, this is exciting. You see where something from the world gets used by God.
Yeah.
He really does make like just beautiful things.
Yeah.
Yeah, so honor to God. Wow.
Absolutely. And I mean, and that's his heart for each and every person out there. He
Yeah.
doesn't want us to get hurt,
No.
to get tangled up in
No.
the things of this world,
No.
man, that can just like sort of steal your destiny,
No.
steal your purpose.
Yes.
No. He's got such great plans for us,
Absolutely.
Tilesia. Every single person listening to our podcast
Yes.
today, he's got amazing plans for you. You know, he only wants the best.
Yes.
He wants you healed from your past. He wants you whole.
Yes.
He wants an intimate relationship with you. And then from that place,
Yes.
see who he can meet you up with and join you with.
Absolutely. That's the heart of God, right? That's
100%.
that's absolutely the aim. And God knows how amazing we can use phones to connect and to stay in touch, and how Christianity can be promoted with phones. And God also knows how the enemy can have a hold on us through
Yeah.
our phones. Like I said, your device can become your biggest vice.
Yeah.
So just really, really stay in the Spirit. Stay in the Spirit, stay connected to the vine. And then God's heart will, you know, just shower on you.
Absolutely.
And you will find love.
Yeah.
I believe that. May not be in your time. It may not be as soon as you wished.
Yeah.
You know, when I got divorced in 2018, I wrote in my diary in 2019. There was a beautiful date. It was 2019. I think it was like 19 October 2019, because I've got some relationship with dates. I love dates. So 19 looked so good in my fleshly mind.
Yeah.
And I thought, that's the day I'm going to get married. You know, I so quickly wanted to be in a relationship again.
Yeah.
And God had other plans. So don't put a pause on God's plans by jumping into your own plans.
Yeah.
Have a conversation with God before you start an online platform or page, or, you know, a profile at least.
Yeah.
Because he will guide you. He will show you no or yes, or what platform. Yes, I believe that. I believe that.
100%.
Because he wants us to have someone. It's his desire for us to be with someone.
Yeah.
You know, he made us to be in connection and to be together.
We are
It's not
relational
good for man
beings.
to be alone,
Yeah.
God said.
Yeah. 100%.
So
Tilesia,
awesome.
thank you so much for sharing all your wisdom and your past experiences with us today.
Thank you,
I really think
Marcus.
this podcast is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
And I really hope that it's going to help a lot of people out there. Especially perhaps people that's been married for so long, you know, getting out of a divorce and then entering the dating scene again. It's like, you know, it's like, yeah, it's completely different
Yes,
to
it
how
is.
things worked 10, 15 years ago.
Absolutely.
It's a different ball
Absolutely.
game.
It is. I think never in our history has it become so important to heal and to wait before you date
Yes, 100%.
than now.
100% right. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. I think, you know, just as social media shifted
Yes.
society as a whole and how we relate to others.
Yes.
Even more so, social online dating.
Yes.
I think it's got a major impact on relationships as a whole.
Definitely.
But in any case, it's been amazing chatting to you
It was
today.
so good. Your
Thank you
heart
so
is in
much.
such a great place, Morné.
Oh, thank you, Tilesia,
Moras.
man.
I know you as Moras, and I can thank Tinder
Yeah,
that I met you there,
100%.
and that our spirit really stood in alignment with God's will, because I believe I choose us. I believe this podcast. I believe our collaboration is godly ordained.
Yeah,
So
100%.
thank God for that. You know,
Absolutely.
So there is good that can come from it.
100%.
Yes.
Yeah.
So thank you.
And may you continue to use us. May you continue to use you as well,
Thank
Tilesia,
you.
in spreading the word and
Yes.
helping a lot of people when it comes to relationships.
Yes. Thank you, Moras.
Awesome.
Appreciate.
Thank you, Tilesia.
Thank you, Moras.
Over and out from us.
Over and out.